our LinkedIn Live event today, Cracking the Code, AI's Role in Claims Innovation. My name is Ken Lebo, and I'm your moderator. I'm the CEO and founder of InsurTech Express, and we are connecting innovators with capital, talent, and marketing. And we have a great panel for you today. So I'm going to let each panelist introduce themselves, starting with Natasha.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natasha Alexeeva, and I'm the founder and CEO of Friendly. I spent my entire career on the intersection of AI and insurance over 16 years now, and worked for a variety of organizations, from really large insurers and health delivery systems like Kaiser Permanente to the top 5 like Amazon. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Nick.
Yeah, hey, I'm Nick Su. I'm the VP of Business Intelligence. I work for GroupHEALTH Benefit Solutions. So we're MGA out in Canada, a subsidiary of Munich Re. And I've been in the insurance industry for almost 20 years now. And really, I'm an actuary by trade, but I've done a lot of technology lately. Thank you.
Fionna?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Fionna Kossmann. I'm the claims product owner at Friendly. I've got a background in life and health claims and was working at a reinsurance company before joining Friendly.
Excellent. Well, today we have an insightful session where industry leaders that you just met will explore how AI is transforming efficiency, accuracy, and the future of claims. So let's jump right in it. Okay. So the first category we want to talk about is strategic and operational impact. So, Natasha, as a CEO, what's the most critical factor in ensuring AI adoption is successful across an organization?
Great question. If I would pick one, I would say change management. The single most important thing. And when I say, because we very often take claim processes and underwriters and other insurance professionals from systems that were homebrewed perhaps 10, 20 years ago into this completely new era of AI. This, doesn't come without challenges. So when I say change management, I don't mean just manage the end result, think how you will reallocate your team and what would be the new responsibilities and all that. That's all important, but also manage the road to it. Because inevitably there would be people who resist change. They have their concerns, and sometimes it's just because people don't like change, and some for other reasons it can be very legitimate concerns. So these people need to be heard. They need to be managed. Just last week I was invited to Gartner Emerging Tech event, where they kind of defined 2 levels of leaders. One leader they called one level, it's like preliminary level, they called AI literate. So that's the leader who, uses ChatGPT every day, understands what AI is and all that. And then the next level is AI proficient. And there are many things that goes into that. But I think one thing that resonated with me is also knowing when to use AI and when not to use. So this proficiency, it comes with education and experience, and very important to have on the team.
Right. So Natasha, from from your perspective, then how can leaders align AI initiatives with broader business goals to maximize impact?
Well, that really depends on the goal. So let's say, everybody's goal is operational efficiency and profitability, as it should be. So if that's the case, don't just choose the system that, summarizes records. because you deal with, 1,000-page document, it summarizes it to 100-page. It's still not enough. Maybe it adds a little bit, but it's just not enough to really show that gains in efficiency. Look for systems that can do more insightful tasks. Maybe identify exclusions for the policy. Start picking out some specific fraud instances. Something that actually requires a human to do more complex tasks, state regulations and this regulational oversight, something that we just added.
Right.
Yeah, more complex decision making.
Sure. So Fionna, I mean, you've experienced the move from sequential to simultaneous processing with AI. So how can claims leaders identify where to start and what's the biggest benefit they should expect?
Yeah, thanks, Ken. It's a good question, because it really is a complete mind shift going from sort of procedural thinking to realizing what's possible with AI. And I think it can be quite overwhelming to decide where to start. My advice would be to think about where your claims teams are really, or your customers even, are really experiencing pain points, and where there are bottlenecks in the process, and then identifying which pieces of those could be assisted by AI or technology, and how that can help your teams and ultimately your customers. So I think there was a second part to your question as well about the benefit, which I think is always going to be time saving, and Natasha spoke about operational efficiencies, which I think the real benefit there is what's possible with the additional time. So with the time that's saved, and I think that's where the real opportunity and benefit lies. So being able to focus on the things that are really important. That might be freeing up your experts to spend more time on the complex claims, or it might be to spend more time on customer communication, bringing some empathy to the process. But I think the real opportunity lies in what's possible with that time saving.
Oh, fantastic. So Nick, I mean, what's a practical challenge you faced integrating AI into actuarial or risk management? And what did you learn that others can apply?
Yes. Yeah, very good question there. The challenge we have is it's all about data, and just getting the right data. The Historically, we've asked people to enter data into our systems and really try to draw out like understanding analysis based on that input. Where that kind of fails is when you want more information, and the impact of asking people to enter more information into the system becomes daunting. So for us, we spend a lot of time, like we've gone strategically more to focusing on automating our intake process. So that's one of the reasons why we're working with Friendly, because we're looking at understanding where that entry point in of the data comes into our system, because that really opens up all the other work that we can do, as Fionna was talking about, like doing things in parallel, like really focusing on that intake really opens up all these other processes that we can apply AI, and then also not to have to ask people to enter information into our system. Is to start structuring that information, because I think AI, it works better when you structure your data and then layer on AI. You're going to get a better ROI on that. Like, yes, you could do it unstructured, but the amount of the cost will blow up. So if you put a little bit of effort in to structure your data in a meaningful way in your organization, you're going to manage your costs better.
Right. Now that makes a lot of sense. Well, I think the next topic, this is for everyone, and we really want to talk about some implementation insights, the do's, the don'ts, and the lessons learned. So let me. So this first question is for everyone. So, what are the key do's and don'ts when selecting and implementing an AI solution for claims? And can you share a lesser known pitfall or critical success factor that can make or break adoption? And whoever wants to jump in first, go for it.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump in and I'll say that it'll make your life easier if whatever the solution can live in your own company's tenant or environment. If you're sending data outside your organization, you're going to be talking to legal a lot, and that really takes away. That's very administrative heavy, and you really want to work with an organization. Like we work with Friendly, and they're putting their technology into our environment rather than us sending the information out, and it just checks off a lot more boxes and makes things easier for compliance and privacy, because you're dealing in claims, you're dealing with lots of health data, and that's yeah, there's lots of risk involved in that, and lots of fines, potential fines, if it goes goes wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I agree that think about selecting a vendor who really thinks about the regulatory landscape and the fact that it's changing so quickly. So you want to work with somebody who is not just I'm SOC compliant, everybody is, but really understands that this might not be enough. It's not enough today. It certainly will not be enough tomorrow, and it's really not enough when you deal with very sensitive data that we do. And maybe another point I wanted to add is, work with somebody who can adapt to your changes. Technology moves so fast. You don't want somebody who just bought into one particular solution and that's it, and they will just continue with it no matter what. There should be some agility. You should be able to, the partner that you work with should have a very good framework, very good AI framework that has a capability of plugging technologies as they come along and testing them and see what works best. And somebody who can develop other use cases. We talk about claims and perhaps, right now you have, I don't know, life or critical illness product, but tomorrow you'll have another product. And you want somebody who can go with these changes and, be very agile.
And Fiona?
So I would say that it's really important to involve the end users. So involve your claims professionals in the process early on, so that the design and the way it's all designed to work is in line with the user expectation. And it also helps with change management and with adoption, because often these decisions are made by leadership teams and then sort of just inserted into the existing processes, and it makes it quite hard to get that trust and adoption from the users. So it's better to involve them early.
Yeah, and just wanted to add to this. When Fiona came to work at Friendly, she gave us this presentation. She talked about why she's passionate about claims. And I was really curious, why would somebody be so passionate about claims? And she said this thing that really stuck with me. She says, claims is where the end user is actually for the first time interacts with the insurance company.
Right.
You really want to approach that with empathy. And I think we realize that with it, everybody is realizing that we have to be empathetic to this end user. But there is also empathy to your employees who are completely bogged down with tasks that they have to do anything from data entry to, decipher a million emails from 50 different sources. So this same empathy can be applied to your workforce. And I think AI is very helpful there.
That makes that makes a lot of sense. So Nick, when evaluating AI solutions, what differences or surprises have you encountered only after implementation? And what would you caution leaders to watch for?
Yeah, I would say the biggest surprise we've had is just like people will bring us problems they want us to solve. And when you look at that problem, you're like, yes, we can solve it. There's AI options as well. But when you start to go and work on it, and you start to learn more about the whole process, then you're kind of thinking yourself that you might have entered maybe in the middle point of the process rather than maybe where you can ultimately like make it efficient. So, it's like, are we really trying to improve a bad process versus like, are we really doing transformation work? So those are definitely are the challenges. And I mentioned before, we focused on automating the intake process, and that was one of our kind of like lessons learned I've been at Group Health for like 6 years. So that's definitely one of the lessons learned early on, um, where we we learned that there's more things that had to be done, and weren't automating exactly where what's best for like the overall company perspective. So that's where we moved to more focusing on that intake process, because we feel that's essentially the beginning of the process for the company, and that there's not really anything additional surprises we can see earlier on. Maybe downstream there could be,
Right.
but earlier on we kind of like we put our backs to the wall on that part of it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, the old cliche, you don't want to be a solution looking for a problem. You want to be solving problems, right? And so I think I'm hearing you right. That I like the part you said about transformations and finding the right solution for the
Yeah,
problem. So
it's a balancing act. You have to
yeah,
balance between the business readiness and the technology. I think the last couple of years the technology has leaped in capabilities, and now it's really I spend now in my recent days, I do a lot more education about what the technology is capable of doing to try to get the business ready for those type of changes. So a little bit less on the technology side now, but definitely more educating the business, like our various claims team, what's capable, what levers we can pull now versus what we had before.
yep. Well, look, I think that the topic that doesn't get talked about enough, and this is the what we really want to get into, is change management and looking forward. But this is for everyone. I mean, change management often makes or breaks AI success. And so, what role should solution providers play? And what's the one practical action leaders can take to help teams truly embrace new tools? So, who wants to take that first?
Maybe I'll let Natasha take it.
Sure. Change management is my favorite topic, mostly because it burned me in the past.
Right.
And maybe the single most important thing is like this team composition, ensuring that you have a project manager, somebody who is, I mean, ideally, you want somebody who has some formal education in AI and data science. It's not just, it's not as easy to go from software into data. So you really need somebody who is the person who understands the pros and cons, when not to use technology, when critically look at the process, like Nick said, that you are trying to automate and say, hey, maybe we should just get rid of this process and not automate it. It's just instead of trying to fix one problem with something else. So, um, you know,
Well,
yeah. Hmm.
no, what I was going to say is I found this interesting comment um, that came in, and they agreed with what you're saying, and with Fiona too. And and he said, I think we should not discount the significant change that is possible when small changes in efficiencies compound. This can really help staff and can impact the experience of clients. This can convert distractors to promoters and clear the way for implementation of further solutions. But it's important for staff to feel they are involved in the decision of the change being implemented. So I'm sure you guys probably all agree with that statement. And if you want to elaborate more about what you think is going to make or break the success of for AI for change management. So, Fionna, if you could please elaborate, that would be great.
Sure. I mean, I think I can only echo what Natasha said, but I would say that one thing that specifically leaders can do is to identify someone on their team who can act as a bit of an internal champion and cheerleader for the technology solution that is being onboarded. And I've seen that this really helps. So often having someone who has been identified to be in that role, who's got a natural curiosity about technology and data, and is willing to walk that journey both with the vendor, but then also internally with the team, and act as a sort of positive, I can only say cheerleader for the solution, can really help in the success of it.
And Nick, anything you want to add regarding change management?
Yeah, we've taken at Group Help, we've taken an approach where we understand changes, like having new technology, like parachuted into anyone's life is daunting, and we try to avoid that issue. I think the biggest game changer in my mind is Microsoft Teams. Everyone using with COVID, everyone's on Microsoft Teams now, and I think really the technology solutions have to really think about, like, how do I integrate my solutions with Teams better? And we've gone and done that a lot, where a lot of the normally we like the vendor would have a UI, but really just we're really focused on that API connection and really understanding, like, how do we move that information to Teams and reduce that barrier to technology, and just like make it easier for everyone. Everyone can have a conversation, and then with agentic AIs, it's the technology is really exciting right now. So, I'm very excited for it, and the I tell my team, make sure the solutions that we're developing is Teams friendly. Can we integrate it with a Teams channel? Can we drop information, drop a file, our APSs into a channel that then we can call our digitization tool? Because there's one less technology people have to be familiar with if we can do something like that. And in Teams is so, like, that chat experience is so critical now in our work life. So we definitely want to hang out in that same space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add another thing in terms of adoption of the technology, which really helps with change management, is one of the things that people are really concerned and where we spend a lot of time is accuracy, of course. And it's so difficult because the market is crowded and people are making ridiculous statements like we are 99% accurate. And it's a good thing to ask, like, what is this data set on which you are accurate? Like, demonstrate how you calculated your accuracy. We at Friendly built technology that makes it transparent. And so, you should always ask the vendor to demonstrate how exactly they've calculated their number. It's one thing. And another thing is nothing is 99% accurate. I guarantee you, after doing this 17 years, it can be. There would be unreadable handwriting. There would be some checkboxes that a human can't read, especially in claims. So what really is important besides accuracy is this concept of confidence. This is where the model raises a flag. If it can't decipher or understand some information, it's going to point you out to that place that it couldn't understand it. So if you work with a vendor, ask them, what's your confidence reliability score? Very important.
No, it sounds like that's really important. We had a very interesting comment from Corey Simon, AVP of Claims at Liberty Bankers Life Insurance Company, and he says that change mimics the 5 stages of grief among employees: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Do you guys kind of conform that, there's big change going on in an organization that, especially with AI and a lot of the jobs or tasks it's taking on, that they're going through a lot of those emotions?
100%.
Yeah. And I would say
Yeah.
that, it's really important. It's a really interesting comment, but I think it's so important to recognize that with change, even if it's positive change, there's always an element of loss. And I think just acknowledging that, the teams that are being exposed to new technology are also going through a process of loss, of losing the way that they're used to doing things and losing that routine element and needing to adapt to something different. So I think that's a really, really important comment.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, the next question is, and this is for everyone, can you share an example where business and technical teams were not aligned in an AI initiative? What's your advice for avoiding or fixing this disconnect? Who wants to tackle that first?
Yeah, maybe I'll go. So I'll share my our experience on like disability claims reporting. So I think we have 3 different systems looking after LTD. So we have a payment system, a case management system, and a billing system, and they're all they're all in different they're all independent systems. And really the challenge has always been to, like, well, how do you connect all this information? And definitely we struggled with that because we're working with different platforms, and like, really just want to summarize information about kind of all 3 different areas for the various like case managers. Definitely the challenge we had is just like understanding the breadth of it all, because there's so many nuances to it. It's really hard to bring in someone from on the technology side, I'll say, for them to learn all that.
Right.
So what we've done is we've identified like a key people in in the claims area that might be tech savvy enough that we actually train them up to with the technology. Some of the we're not, the technology has gotten to a point now that's a lot of object based, so you're not doing it's very low code nowadays, if you pick the right platform. So we're able to train up some of our more tech savvy claims people to help accelerate that experience, and then to overlay the AI over top the summarization. It just like, and the quality is a lot better. The product that you get is a lot better. Kind of bringing in someone from the claims side and really teaching them more on the technology side.
Right. Anyone want to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with Nick. And one thing is, I think we all agree, is that the leaders should get the buy-in from the employees before starting the project. They should communicate the goals, get everybody excited, be this cheerleader for change, and then move forward. Now, I'm reading this book about insulin. It's amazing. Insulin is one of the most fundamental and important drugs right now. And it's amazing, when it first invented, how many people were against it for a million reasons, saying like, it's not produced, it's not pure enough and whatever. And so, don't be this person who resists insulin. Now, think about the fact that technology is here. It's powerful. It has pros and cons, and get people excited about moving towards the future in a very, measured way, so that you don't go off track. You don't start automating something that's completely useless in the first place. But it is exciting, and there's so much more you can accomplish if you have this positive mindset.
Yep. Well, go ahead, Fiona. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was just going to add just something that I think we haven't really spoken about much yet, and I think is so important, and I've seen it in my experience, is that communication. So communication between all the different stakeholders who are involved in these technology projects. So, from the sort of the champion user who's been identified right up to the leadership and to the vendors as well. So I think the communication between these different parties is really critical and cannot be overemphasized, really, because there's so many different layers in layers of people involved. So the decision makers often, are not being kept as informed as the people who are doing the development and the testing and and I think just targeting the communication at those different levels and making sure that the progress is being communicated is really critical to success.
Right. Well, we're getting some very insightful comments around adoption and change management around AI. So let me read. We'll try to get to as many of these as we can with the time we have left, but and the rest of our last question. But this one, Steven Siegel, PhD, insurance industry domain expert, operations, technology, analytics. I guess he's an expert in all those areas, and he says many issues with change management and adoption are related to the fact that project sponsors sometimes don't spend the time up front ensuring that the change they intend to manage is actually useful for the people impacted. If the value isn't obvious and real, there will be issues. Boy, I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one. Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, we all can't agree more. That we have to get the buy-in from people who will be using the system early on and understand, set the expectations. It's important to set the expectations and explain that this is very powerful thing, but it's not like it's not going to do everything and fix your sink. So
Yeah,
that's the important part too.
absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll just jump in, and maybe for the people on listening, maybe a good starting point to think about where AI can help is on data governance and on your claims data, and really understanding like the issues of your data. Because if you can use your AI to be like data stewards, you can build up a good operational data set of your problems. And that can lead to more additional work. So something to think about with agentic AI options out there, really think maybe the starting point can be that data governance mindset first, to start getting your, if you're a data-driven organization, you should be able to have a good sense of where your problem lies afterwards, once you turn your attention to a data governance view, and then you get a better idea of where the opportunities are to make those type of larger investments over time.
Right. No, that makes sense. Now, I'm sorry we can't get to everyone's comments. I just want you guys to touch on this last question. And by the way, everyone, if you stick around for just an extra minute at the end, we do have a short video we like to play for you. So I think you'll find very, very interesting. So this is for everyone. Looking forward, let's talk about the future. Okay. What new skills or mindsets do you think claims professionals will need as AI becomes more deeply embedded in their workflows? Who wants to take that first?
I mean, I can kick us off, and then maybe others want to add. I think there are a couple of things. I mean, I could talk about this for a while, but I think the one thing is really to try and maintain a curious, open mind and just think about what's possible. And I think to also begin to think about everything that you see in your day-to-day as a claims professional and all the things that you do, to begin to look at those things through a bit of a data lens and think of those pieces of information and steps in the process as bits of data. And I think that will really help pave the way in terms of being a little bit more prepared for engaging with AI solutions.
Yep, no, that's a great point. Anybody like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say big picture thinking. I think you're getting to a point where the technology can do a lot, and really you're looking for people who can think big on where the potentially where that technology can be leveraged, and you're gonna gain a lot from understanding like that's like I think understanding why we do the things we do is going to be critical because AI can do lots of the smaller tasks, but like to understand why we do the things we do, I think that is still a ways away for AI. So definitely find those key people who really have that understanding.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And Natasha,
Yeah,
anything
and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and maybe the last thing is it doesn't necessarily require very special skills, not something that you can't acquire, in a week after using it. But mindset is important. It is important to just, understand that this is new. There would be adjustments that you'll have to make. There will be changes to your routine, and kind of
Right.
accept this change, and be eager to learn. But Fiona made reference to it, saying that this curiosity is such a good quality to have. We always really enjoy working with people who are curious, and they look for other use cases, and it just makes everything so much more fun.
No, that's great. So I think what I like to do is, with the time that we have left, and God, we got so many good comments here. So I'm trying to figure out. We have a short video we want to play for everyone, and so is our coordinator here is gonna fire up the video.
Insurance is at a breaking point. Every underwriting case comes with hundreds of pages of complex medical history, financial and non-medical information. It is no longer manageable. You need a friend to sort it all out. Today's challenge is that teams are spending hours unraveling documents instead of making risk decisions. Critical details get missed. Scaling becomes impossible. We help shift that balance. Meet Friendly, the enterprise-grade AI platform built for insurance. Our highly customizable platform provides solutions for underwriting, claims, and treaties, where accuracy, speed, and compliance matter most. From complex documents to clear insights in minutes, not hours. Our platform extracts, summarizes, and analyzes critical data from files in any language without compromising accuracy or oversight. Across underwriting, claims, and treaties, we score 95% accuracy, 98% confidence reliability, and you can expect 85% efficiency gains. See Friendly, transform your workflow. Book a demo today.
Well, fantastic. I really want to thank the panelists. And as for those who that have watched this video, I don't know if Natasha, if you want to tell them how they can contact you, what's the best way if they want to learn more about Friendly and your innovative solutions?
Sure, you can visit Friendly Cares. So we're friendly and we care, and therefore it's friendlycares.com. And also drop us a note at hello@friendlycares.com. You can also reach Fionna at friendlycares.com, and I'm Natasha, also available at natasha@friendlycares.com.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for all those that attended. There will be a video for those that didn't catch it all to watch it. So we'll be posting all that as well. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you.